Oh, he's gone! This week we are going to be showing you just what happened on our recent winter challenge when myself and Karl took on 160 kilometers in winter of the South Downs Way. Did we manage to finish the challenge? Stick around to find out what happened. Today is the day of the race. We will be setting off for 160 kilometers of British coastline. And so our plan is to pretty much map to ground using this kind of highly versatile floppy splash map. At the moment, feeling like I've definitely overpacked. It's now 8 o'clock in the morning, so we're on track to be setting off. Here we go. First little issue we've come up against is trying to navigate your way through the city of Winchester, as a lot of the signs are split in different directions. It's a little bit unclear, to be fair, so we've played it safe or not safe, and we're just the right side of the Calico at the moment, just scooching underneath the M3. Not ideal, but listen, never done this route before, certainly not this section, so here we go. So we've gone down through the double roundabout up here, and then we've cut down on this Chilcombe lane, which is where the ranges are. I've just passed, and at the end of this lane we're literally going to hit Chilcombe. Not quite the start we wanted. I'm already just about to start perspiring. You can see the sun is coming up over the hill. Realistically, I wanted to be packing about 11 kilo. I would say this is closer to 14, but a lot of it is food and water. Hopefully at the end of this country lane, we'll turn off to the right or bear off. Great natural navigation indicator early in the morning. There's the sun rising in the east. We've just come up this track. That's Winchester City in the far corner. 176 spot height we're on now. Behind Karl towards the sunshine is the direction we're travelling, which is obviously east, as we're still early in the morning. We've hit this little light station, which is a depression or a bowl shape here, where obviously at some point there was probably a beacon or something here. Just while Karl's filling up his stuff, this is also a great time for me to just have a quick nav check here. We are coming down, we've come down here, we're about to go off this page, so we're at Loma Farm here. Okay, and once we've gone off this page where it says I, we look up, and then we've got another whole wonderful section to do, which starts in this corner here. Okay, and I can see already from some of the contours here, there's an ancient Iron Age hill fort, spot height 197. So there's going to be some undulations and a bit of climbing to do through here. So we're aiming by day one to be wild camping, ideally, probably the other side of the A3. So the task today is to try and cover the some 40 kilometers and get the other side of the A3, where we will be wild camping.
Getting over Butts Hill is going to be the interesting bit. I think it's the second highest bit in the South Downs and the highest bit on the South Downs Way.
In the first day you can try and peak and get up to the highest point on the South Downs Way. We've captured it. Show what you've brought.
It's just something I don't have to put up with your stories in the evening.
Although it's a fictional story, it talks about King Alfred, the statue which we left in Winchester, and a lot of the stuff historically that happened around that time happens in the book. We've just come in along here and we're about to carry on down that path, not realizing that, you know, how good these taps are. I've definitely got too much water on board, so I'm going to just keep working my water down. We've got a beautiful tractor that's going to come and join us. Let's just stand off to one side. Oh, beautiful. So we are off the beaten track now. Where are we now, Karl? How do you think we're doing for today?
A little bit slower than I thought, but we're getting on. First day, get into it, get in the groove.
I'd probably agree with that, not having done this route before, but Karl's done quite a few sections, and you've even run
100k of it, yeah, 100k of it. From Eastbourne to Arundel Football Club.
It's pretty impressive, to be fair. So not so much wild camping, but more just in one go.
Yeah, just got it done. I think it was 17 hours. I think you got to remind yourself what you can do when you're uncomfortable, haven't you? Every now and again. Yeah. And it'll take yourself by surprise and realise everything else is all right. What you moan about at home isn't really relevant.
And that is, to me, how we learn and grow. Here he is, look, top boy. On top of his log pile, shouting at us. All right, we're leaving you alone, mate. Most of the track is just chalk and it's really well marked so far. It's basically been a mix of farm track and sections of road and woodland. We are now at Beacon Hill Nature Reserve. Bit of a milestone for day one. We've come off the end of the map and we are, excuse fingers, just starting in this corner here, and you can just about make out Beacon Hill. Okay, so Beacon Hill, this is the trig point. This is 201, and the biggest hill we're going to cover, hopefully before dark tonight, if we keep going, is going to be another 100 on top of that. But we've got to get a lick on, we can't stick about for too long. This is already harder than I anticipated. I'm still loving it. I mean, look at the view. I don't even know why we're even doing this. Maybe it's just a change of pace. Okay, so there's been a bit of commando speed marching going on here as well. Oh, he's gone! He's gone, ladies and gentlemen. Staying strong so far. It'll be my turn next. In the winter, in the low ground, I was nearly off then. It's obviously a lot muddier, and with the weight that we've decided to pack, still suffering from that decision. You're right, Karl.
You get if you gobble down sweets.
He's singing the Oompa Loompa song. Suddenly not so funny anymore. Maybe both of us are feeling this now. The sun is starting to set in the west. We've got a couple of, maybe 2-3 at push hours of daylight left. We're just trying to get the other side of a big Winchester hill. I think we set off too fast. We're probably travelling at nearer 3k an hour now rather than 4. If we can find somewhere suitable, the other side of the big hill, we'll probably just go firm for the night there.
Reevaluate life.
Reevaluate life and get some food on. But in the meantime, it's just this.
We work it at the top. We're going back down to go back up by the looks of it.
Brutal. This is cheeky. So basically, we're just being guided at the moment by these really beautiful hand-carved signs with the blue South Downs Way on, and we're just hand railing around all this to get up over this next big hill, which is around 200 feet. I don't know about you, but there's been some lessons learned. I'm probably going to reconfigure a few things in my pack. It's beautiful though. It's so quiet out here. I can't hear any cars. Just bliss. And the sun is shining, which is a bonus. All right, come on, let's get on with it. Just come along the edge of this farmland, turn this corner. Karl's less than impressed. This is now the crack straight up. This will be the hardest climb of the day, I reckon, left for us. It's getting towards the end of day one. We're both regretting this.
You've been saying it's getting to the end of day one since midday.
I've been saying that since the end of midday.
A kid in the back of a car.
About the waiting.
Nearly there yet.
Sun's going down behind me, just over the hill there. This has been a little bit of a shock to the system, I'm not going to lie. What, we got 6k left in the bag to push?
Yeah.
About an hour and a half left of daylight, so it's going to be pushed to find a suitable camp. I will say at this point, I have not tested my new tent. Something about planning and preparation. If you've had a similar experience, let us know in the comments box below. I think in a past life I was a lot more meticulous. So those thinking of doing Winchester to Beachy Head, my advice, go from Beachy Head. Well, then you've got the Seven Sisters. Not quite so much chat happening here now. Head down and getting on with it. Now, one thing I do need to point out, if you are thinking of wild camping and you have the permission or you have the spot or the bit of land that you want to get to, check out the sun, where it is in the sky, and use your fingers as a gauge to manage your time. There's nothing worse than arriving somewhere in pitch black and trying to set up, especially a new setup as I'm wearing right now, and trying to work it all out in the dark. Using my fingers on the skyline, each finger is 15 minutes. From where the sun strikes the horizon there, if I put my hand up, I could probably fit 4 fingers. So 15, 30, yeah. So basically, I've pretty much got an hour's left of walking. Based on a current pace, on a good hard surface, we're probably moving at around 3 or 4k an hour. We can get into the map and predict 3 or 4k further down the road. Now this is really useful and a safety factor. Part of the reason we're using this is our build up, our first challenge. The what 3 words for this area, okay, wonderful prune amends, has actually been put on a little sign there. So if you're in any difficulty, you've got that in your mind moving forward. That's probably the closest point before it kind of goes from being a solid track back into just mud again that maybe an ambulance can get to. So Just a really well thought out thing, and again, something else that impresses me about the quality of the trails we have here in the UK. I'm not sure what the American Appalachian, but I'm not sure what that looks like, but let me know. So I'll be really interested. Carl's not waiting for me anymore. I have to play catch up. Oh God. How are your feet feeling?
Got some hot spots, definitely. Whatever you're going to wear, you're going to slip and slide about a bit.
Yeah,
I've got good ankle support.
Totally agree with that. I'm in some A-Solo Avalons to give my ankle the support. Just getting this far, I'm actually quite pleased.
I think the thing is we were a bit disheartened coming because we haven't quite got as far as we thought. Every now and again, when the signpost gives a mile indicator to the landmark, 4 miles away from the landmark we thought we'd be at this evening with an hour to go. So we're actually not that far off.
We were hoping to make something called Butser Hill, big large hill, but at this rate, with this sort of terrain and the sun going down the way it is, we'll be lucky to get onto this side of the hill and just look for a little pocket here in the woodland to just bivvy up in. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. That last hill, climbing up through that chalk, was just miserable. So I'm here now next to a couple of these massive masts. This is called Small Down, the area we're in now. I'd probably say I've got just under an hour till the sun goes down. As we drop down to look for our place to wilds camp, the sunlight is obviously dropping down, we're dropping down. It's not going to be an ideal situation, so we're going to stay here, rest up as long as we can probably get away with, and then we just got to go for it. And the turn. Racing the sun going down. The moon is now out. It's come to join us. We're just literally walking till we've run out of daylight, or sensibly probably half an hour left. We just need to pitch up somewhere. 2 simple bivvy and a tarp, and this pop out amazing EBNS tent from Katoma with the Wolverine fly sheet, which I'm quite excited about. We haven't seen a soul for hours, so at the end of day 1 I've got my small EBNS tent shelter set up. I've got very little room to move. At that really awkward phase where it's all about a little bit of foot care. Powdered my socks for tomorrow, and I've put them inside my sleeping bag. Temperature is dropping right now. My food packs are left out ready to good to go for the morning. That was a really hard day, I'm not going to lie. Okay, so I'm not entirely sure, but I think you call I think we did something like 30-35k. We didn't quite hit Butser Hill. We've ended up camping out literally just off the side of the path in a tiny bit of wooded area. Apologise now, I've got food all around my mouth. It's only going to get worse from here. This is night 1. I did the chorizo cheese and couscous for this evening's meal. This is my world right now, so it's got internal bug net. We'll have a closer look at it all in the morning. As the sound of Karl fighting his way into his sleeping bag, so I'll be doing the same shortly. Right, so I'll probably say goodnight for now. Morning of day 2. We're in varying states of admin here. So what I've done here is I've set up my EBNS tent system, and I've just folded one half of the fly sheet over. Now, I did have an awful lot of condensation last night. This thing has not performed very well, and realistically, if I was having to go to this level of airing it and stuff in the morning without a tarp over the top, I'd be getting wet right now. In addition to that, you can see how dehydrated I am. Jesus. All right, I'm gonna have to get some water on board. This is a matter of importance, big time today. It's yesterday's march was very, very hard. You can see the bathtub inside of this thing has held fairly well. There's a couple of spots where it's looking damp, but it hasn't come through. Karl, how are you getting on inside there? Are you taking visitors?
I can take visitors, yeah.
So Karl's just sorting out all of his admin inside here, using the tent pole up the middle. So I probably look like I've been hit by a bus, but we'll be setting off in about 5 minutes time, so I'm going to have to pack this down now. We're going to try and get ahead before the sun comes up with the light that we have got here, and then when the sun does come up, we can see what's going on a bit better. We'll probably stop take another look at Karl's feet, have a look at my feet, and maybe get a coffee on or something. So that's us now moving away from the side of that little track where we stopped off last night. So this is the first time we've actually seen the sea.
It's Portsmouth.
That's Pompey out there. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, you can just see Spinnaker Tower in the end.
Let's just have a quick chat about some of today's challenges and the things that both of us are facing.
You wake up to a new set of niggles and pains and aches, certain things that you don't realise, and through the night obviously it's not the most comfortable sleeping on the ground, because no matter what you do or what you buy or what you have, you're not going to make it the most comfortable, so that doesn't really help your recovery for the next day. Yeah, very sore this morning, got some hip ache in the joints of my hips, some pain in my ankle that I didn't think would rear its head from a previous injury.
It's the first time our viewers are obviously meeting Karl. What was that injury?
So I was caught up in some kinetic action in Sangin.
In Afghanistan?
In Afghanistan. And got caught on the foot, on the inside of my foot, which led to some sort of bone structure damage and some scarring and stuff like that. So it's damaged all the inside tendons and structure of my foot. So it has learnt to recope on general, normal, everyday running, 5Ks and 10Ks and walking here and there.
Karl, when you did your 100 miler before, what were the challenges, your 100 kilometre of part of this route, what was the challenges you faced?
Nothing at the time with my foot, because obviously 100 kilometres, trying to run 100 kilometres of it. So you sort of get on with the sore and painfulness of the running 100 kilometres. The following morning when I woke up, the Epsom salt bath and all them classic stuff, I noticed I had some sort of red, inflamed area on my ankle. Sort of watched it for a while and ended up going in to see a doctor, who said that it was part of the shrapnel that was in the foot from the injury, from the initial contact. It's still in there. This, I don't know, what was that, 2010, so we're talking sort of 9 years later. It caused an infection that was spreading up my leg, and initially I stayed in Bastion because they thought it was a flesh wound.
Hospital at Camp Bastion.
Hospital in Camp Bastion. They thought it was a flesh wound. They stitched it up. There was a period after the contact we had to sort of get ourselves back to safety, which was 100 metres back, carrying another guy that was a lot worse than myself. So through that there was an infection in the foot that they didn't initially see in Bastion. Just sort of 4 days into that, I thought my leg, it was like I had elephantitis in it. It was huge. And the next thing I know, I went into the sick bay to have it checked up. I was put to sleep and I woke up in Birmingham QE Hospital with the looking at amputating my leg from below the knee. So
bloody hell.
Yeah, but it's still there now.
This is the kind of thing that British veterans across the globe have to kind of struggle with, and it is sadly a very real part of the job, whether you're affected mentally or whether you've been affected physically or both. These are things you have to learn to manage and deal with for the rest of your life. They've already made some amendments. JU88 Alpha 1 who crashed and exploded in Phyllis Wood.
Sort of keep them where they are, whereas if they pop when I'm walking, it could create another blister.
See the farm we're up and about. Just look at that, looking out onto the downs. Stunning.